Imagine this. You promise yourself not to fall into another toxic relationship, not to procrastinate on important tasks, or not to react emotionally in certain situations, yet you do it again. Why does this happen? Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis, suggested that our unconscious mind largely controls our behavior, leading us to repeat the same mistakes. According to Freud, hidden forces from childhood shape our habits, decisions, and emotional reactions, often without us realizing it. His theory of the unconscious provides a compelling explanation for why we sabotage ourselves. Freud's theory of the unconscious. Freud divided the human psyche into three components. The ID, the primitive, instinct-driven part of our mind that seeks pleasure and immediate gratification. The ego, the rational self that mediates between its impulses and the demands of the external world. The superego, the moral conscience that internalizes societal norms and values. Although we believe we make conscious choices, Freud argued that our unconscious stores repressed emotions, desires, and past experiences that influence our behavior. A central concept in Freud's theory is repetition compulsion, the unconscious tendency to repeat past experiences, even painful ones, because our unconscious is seeking resolution. Why do we keep making the same mistakes? Several psychological patterns contribute to this. 1. Unresolved childhood conflicts. Freud believed that early experiences create deeply ingrained emotional patterns. If a child grows up in an environment where love is conditional, they may unconsciously seek relationships that reflect this pattern, even if it is harmful. For example, someone who experienced emotional neglect from their parents may be drawn to emotionally unavailable partners as an adult. 2. Repressed emotions. When painful emotions are not processed but instead repressed into the unconscious, they often resurface in destructive ways. Someone with deeply buried feelings of inadequacy might unconsciously sabotage their own success because they don't feel worthy. 3. The comfort of the familiar. People tend to be drawn to familiar situations, even if they are negative. Freud suggested that we unconsciously seek environments that feel psychologically familiar because they provide a sense of security. For example, someone who grew up in a chaotic household may unknowingly choose conflict-ridden relationships or high-stress work environments. Real-life examples. Toxic relationships. People repeatedly choose partners who mistreat them because it unconsciously reminds them of their childhood. Self-sabotage. Someone deliberately delays progress or undermines their own success out of fear of change or failure. Career missteps. A person continuously chooses jobs where they are undervalued because they unconsciously believe they don't deserve better. Freud's concept of repetition compulsion. Repetition compulsion describes the unconscious tendency to recreate past traumas. Freud argued that people do this because their unconscious seeks resolution for unresolved emotions, but instead of resolving them, they simply repeat the painful experiences. Examples. Someone who felt abandoned as a child may unconsciously seek partners who eventually leave them. A person with recurring failures may unknowingly sabotage themselves to recreate the familiar feeling of failure. Modern psychology's perspective on repeating mistakes. While Freud's theories remain influential, modern psychology offers additional explanations for why people continue making the same mistakes. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. CBT suggests that repeated mistakes stem from negative thought patterns and learned behaviors. Unlike Freud, CBT emphasizes consciously changing thought processes to break self-destructive cycles. Attachment theory. Developed by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, attachment theory expands on Freud's ideas by explaining how early relationships shape adult behavior. People with insecure attachment styles are more likely to unconsciously fall into relationship patterns that mirror their childhood experiences. Neuroscience and habit formation. Neuroscientific studies show that the brain forms habits through repeated behavior. The more an action is performed, the stronger the neural connections become, making it an unconscious routine. This explains why breaking old patterns is so difficult. How to stop repeating the same mistakes. Recognizing patterns is the first step to breaking the cycle. Here are some proven methods. 1. Therapy and psychoanalysis. Freudian psychoanalysis helps uncover unconscious motives. Through therapy, people can explore repressed emotions, identify unconscious conflicts, and gain greater control over their behavior. 2. Mindfulness and self-reflection. Mindfulness practices help recognize automatic behaviors and emotional triggers. Journaling, meditation, and self-analysis can bring unconscious patterns to light. 3. Cognitive behavioral techniques. CBT methods focus on identifying negative thought patterns and replacing them with healthier ones. 4. Building healthy relationships. Since many repeated mistakes stem from early relationship dynamics, supportive and healthy relationships can help reprogram emotional responses. 5. Making conscious choices. The key to breaking patterns is recognizing triggers and making deliberate choices instead of automatically reverting to old behaviors. Conclusion. Are you truly making your own decisions, or is your unconscious mind in control? Freud's theory of the unconscious provides valuable insights into why we keep making the same mistakes, but modern psychology offers practical tools to break destructive cycles. Through self-awareness, therapy, and intentional behavioral changes, we can free ourselves from unconscious patterns and live a more conscious, fulfilling life.